Libra. Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name's Carol, and this is your May 2024 reading. So I hope you got through last month's eclipse energy, I should say. But apparently it's supposed to last to the end of the year, so if you're still feeling it, it's normal. I hope you were able to see it. I had to drive an hour and a half to go and see it, so I was quite thrilled. I was right beside an ocean, and I just laid there on a rock and watched the whole thing on my back. So it was really, really cool. So what do we have for you? If you are new to the channel, this is a pretty new channel. I started it in December 2023. So, we're growing. I'm pretty excited about that. So what we're going to do this month, Libra, is we're going to do your healing map. So we're going to start off by looking at what situation you're sitting in. Could be a struggle you're dealing with. It could be a pattern that's showing up in your life again. It could be a situation with an intimate partner or someone at work, or some sort of relational issue that you're dealing with, a decision you have to make. And so that's going to come up for us. We'll know what situation you're in. And then what's going to come up, and this is probably the most important row, if you will. It's the second one, and that is what needs healing. Now, why do we have to look at what needs healing? Well, it's really what's coming up from your shadow. And your shadow is that unconscious part of you, that you've repressed over the years. You've shoved away, put it away, you don't want to deal with it. Things that maybe people told you when you were younger. And they're things that need to be healed. And for the most part, we don't know what it is because it's sitting in our unconscious. And the problem with that is that our unconscious is way more powerful than what we actually know about ourselves. And so that is what's causing the situation that you're in. It's having the biggest impact on it. So it's really important that you heal that so that you can deal with this issue that you're sitting in right now. So I said that it's coming up from your shadow. That's what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be doing a bit of shadow work. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term shadow or shadow work, I've left a video at the end. I'll leave one at the end of this video, and then I'm going to put one in the description box. And it's called My Powerful 4-Step Guide to Shadow Work. And really what it is I've put it together, and I've been on this healing journey, this really intense healing journey for 7 years. All my life I've been in and out of therapy trying to heal and trying to figure out what was wrong with me. But in the last 7 years, I've just been intensively dealing with my complex trauma. And so I have been able to put together a video that I made that kind of is a compilation of everything I know about doing shadow work and how to get at your trauma, how to heal that stuff that's preventing you from being, your authentic self. And so I think you'll really find that video helpful if you're interested in doing some shadow work. Now, once we figure out what needs healing in regards to your situation, we're going to look at how you can heal this. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the outcome. What are you going to get out of this? Or, why do you need to heal this? What's there for you at the end? All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be using the Rider-Waite deck. I'll be pulling an oracle card from the spirit animal deck right here. I'll do that at the end. And then what I want to do, I'll be clarifying, using a mini Tarot-Waite deck. And so let's get started. I'm gonna ask the tarot for 3 cards, please, Libra. Situation for Libra, what Libra is dealing with right now. 3 cards, please. 3 cards that will help us determine what situation Libra is dealing with right now. Okay, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. 2 more cards, please. The Seven of Pentacles. 1 more card for a situation that Libra's dealing with right now. One more card. The Five of Pentacles. All right, so 2 Pentacles and the Swords. Okay, what needs healing? 2 cards, please. 2 cards for what needs healing. 7 of Swords. And 1 more card. Okay. The Four of Cups. And 3 cards for how Libra can heal this. 3 cards for how Libra can heal this. This situation here. The Hierophant in reverse. 2 more. We're bending. Something to go. The Hermit card in reverse. And 1 more, please. No, I'm doing something that's bending them. Okay. The Five of Swords in reverse. And 2 cards for the outcome. The outcome for Libra. The Devil. The Devil card. Interesting outcome. 1 more card. Oh, that one came flying out. Page of Cups. Page of Cups. All right. So I'm going to keep this on hand in case I need to clarify. And so Libra, back in December 2023, I put out yearly reading for 2024. And I pulled 12 cards for you, for 1 for each month. And the card that I pulled for you for May, because this is May reading, so your overriding energy is the King of Swords. King of Swords. So let's take a look at kings. Kings in my deck, there are 4 of them. And the king represents the ego, right? It's that masculine part of us. And the ego's in the mind. It's all in the mind. And the King of Swords in particular is about, the sword is authenticity. You know, it's getting back to our authentic self, who we really are. But the ego tends to put on masks with people. There's a lot of fear with the ego, and it really is afraid to show the real self. And so there is, you know, this is your overriding energy for this month. So we're going to be looking at, you know, the ego here, how the ego comes into play for you with about, you know, hiding who you really are, and how it's putting on these masks for you, how you put on your masks with different people, because you're afraid to show who the real you is. And, you know, most of us are afraid to show who we really are. But, and the ego wants nothing to do with authenticity. It wants everything to do with keeping those masks on, right? So let's look at right now what situation you're sitting in. So I'm seeing, first of all, that you are needing to very much take some time out here for yourself, because it's in reverse. here is where, you know, you need to take time out, but there's some real resistance here on your part to not taking time out for yourself. And it's very interesting because the king wouldn't want you to take time out. The king wouldn't want you, your ego wouldn't want you to be still. Because if you're still, you know, sometimes emotions can come up and you might feel those, right? And the king has nothing to do with emotions, right? And so there is a resistance here for you to take time out. And it looks like you've been up in your head a lot. Like mental, swords are all about mental energy. And they're about those thoughts and ideas and belief systems that we have about ourselves. And we can really spin on that. And sometimes it just gets too much. And we need to take a breather. We need to carve some time out for ourselves. And to really get back into our body. And to start to center ourselves and ground ourselves. Because we can just get stuck in our head. And because the king here is the overriding energy, you know, we have to be careful that the ego doesn't always run the show. Because it's not for the ego to run, right? And so there's some resistance here for you to take some time out for yourself. And I can see that it's needed. Because you've been working on, you know, you've been putting a lot of your energy into something. I can see the Seven of Pentacles says you've been putting a lot of your time and your energy and your commitment into something. And I'm not quite sure that it's brought you the joy or the satisfaction that maybe you thought it would, or is, you know, you're still in it and you know, maybe it's not what, maybe you're starting to realize, you know, this isn't bringing me joy. You know, a lot of us can get stuck in doing like a job that we just put so many hours into it, and really what we need to do is just take some time out for ourselves. It's really interesting because I'm retired, and I hang out with some retired people, and some of the people that I'm with have gone, you know, back to work, have taken their old jobs, some of them, and some have, you know, are deciding to take another little job here, and, you know, because they want to fill up their time. Because and it's interesting that it's not even necessarily something that they would love to do, but they're just doing it to fill their time. And this isn't loving to do, by the way. It's just somebody that's committing themselves to a lot of it. And so, what was that? I'm trying to think of where I was going now with that comment about, yeah, like it's just, there's this thing about people have a hard time being still. And it's because of your Four Swords that came up here. That we just have a hard time taking time out for ourselves and get still. And we keep ourselves busy. Busy. But it's not fulfilling at all. And this is what I'm seeing with you. You're keeping yourself busy. You need to take time out. But, you know, sometimes we just get caught up in this because we avoid. What do we avoid? Well, we avoid emotions and feelings. And you're avoiding, in particular, the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is this card of these people feeling this great unworthiness because they're not dressed properly. They're cold. They don't have the right, you know, they don't have boots on, or they don't even have really shoes on, and they're walking through the snow, and they just don't feel worthy enough to go and ask for help. And so I'm seeing here, you know, this could be literally you need help, but you don't feel that you can ask for help, or you don't know where to go for help. And so I'm seeing that you're dealing with some unworthiness. And maybe you're covering it up with this commitment, this work that you're doing, keeping yourself busy. And you know that keeping busy is what the ego loves, right? puts on this mask and look at me, I'm busy, busy, busy. I'm important because I'm so busy. And I'm going to go back to my old job. I've retired, but I'm going to go back to my old job just because, you know, they need me and that means they love me. And that covers up really my unworthiness. And so, you know, I'm just wondering if there's some covering up here because we got the King of Swords going on and he's the mask, right? He likes to cover up. And so I'm wondering if there's this, you're needing time for yourself and you're just keeping busy all the time because you're covering up your unworthiness. And so what do you need to heal? Like what do you need to do here? What needs to heal for you to be able to take this time out for you? That's very much needed so that you can start to heal some of that unworthiness. And what needs to heal? So what's sitting in your shadow that you're not aware of? The Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is the Thief card. It's the Thief card. He's running away. And see how he's running away with these swords? Look how he's holding them. He's holding them by their tips. Very dangerous, right? Swords are belief systems, thought patterns, you know, things that people have told us about ourselves. And those are the kind of things that, and it's like you didn't run away from them, but you inherited them. People told them to you when you were younger. And they were things that made you feel unworthy. And so these are the type of things that are sitting in our shadow. They're the type of things that we'll take when we're younger. If people said something to us that made us feel unworthy, we would shove it, put it away into the back of our minds, you know, the unconscious part of us. But it's going to keep coming up. Situations will keep coming up in your life. And you might, you know, keep yourself busy or put a mask on, try to hide it and pretend you're someone else. But underneath that, it's still there. And very much blocked right here. This thing that you feel, these belief systems that you have about yourself that tell you that you're not worthy, that you're crap, that you're, you know, a piece of garbage, and they're hidden in your unconscious and they're there. People have told you that stuff. And it's needing to heal because these are not your belief systems. This is shame that other people gave to you because they had it, so they gave it to you. And now you have this shame and you need to heal it. And the universe is saying, you know, here's the Four of Cups. And in upright position, you have this individual that's sitting here and is really, you have these Three Cups here. He has his arms crossed and looking at the Three of Cups and he's going, I'm good, thanks, don't need any more. I've dealt with enough of my emotions, and or maybe it's kind of like, you know, the past is the past. Let's just keep it in the past. I'm not going to, why dredge it up? Why bring up the past? What's the purpose of doing that? And the universe is here with an offer. Here's this Ace of Cups, if you will. It's another offer. And the universe wants you to take it and say, listen, sure you have these Three Cups. Sure you're sitting here thinking you've had enough. You don't want to deal with anything anymore. But here's another chance. Let's go a little bit deeper. Or for some of you, let's just start to deal with this, right? Others, let's go a little bit deeper. Maybe you've been dealing with this unworthiness before, but we're just going to go a little bit deeper here. But I'm seeing here that there's a great resistance and block to dealing with these belief systems that people have told you about yourself that aren't true regarding your unworthiness. And you really have a resistance to going inwards to deal with it. And that would explain probably that why you're not taking this time out for yourself, because people don't like to get still. People who have stuff to work on, and that's every single one of us, will often keep themselves very busy, you know, so that we don't have to deal with this. Who wants to deal with unworthiness? Those are horrible feelings to deal with. But, yeah, we need to. And so how are you going to heal this? You know, how are you going to heal this unworthiness that's coming up? Well, the first thing is the Hierophant card, and it's in reverse here. In an upright position, the Hierophant card talks about this papal figure here who is delivering some sort of a speech, you know, dogma, talking to them about, you know, right and wrong. And, you know, this card represents for us the institutions or even school, you know, things that would have taught us what are right and what are wrong in life. Institutions, school, you know, our sense of obedience, our religion maybe. Where did we get that from? And that's in reverse here for you. And so what I'm saying here is that what the universe, what the tarot wants you to do is to start, because it's in reverse, so it's very much like blocking a lot of your healing, because you have certain ideas maybe on what's right and what's wrong, and they are blocking this whole chance for you to heal. And what the tarot wants you to do is to turn this card upright, right? It's blocked right now because there's a real resistance to looking at this. What the tarot wants you to look at, what your sense of obedience, like what is right and what's wrong, and what's right and wrong, and that whole sense of that, you need to start to question that. Like, is that yours? Let me give you an example. Let's say you were raised in a certain religion, right? And of course, any religion that you're raised in, there is a dogma, there's a guidelines that you follow, and it gives you this values and sense of obedience and what's right and what's wrong. And sometimes, even if we don't even follow that religion anymore, we unknowingly continue to live sort of in that box that was outlined for us when we were younger, whether it was a religion, whether it was an institution, whatever it was that gave you your sense of what was right, what was wrong, what am I supposed to obey, what I'm not, or how I'm supposed to be, right? And the King of Swords is all about those masks you put on, right? How am I supposed to be in this world? And the tarot wants you to look at that. The tarot says, well, is that do these belief systems belong to you? Are they yours? Or are you still living under what someone else has told you? Are you still living in that box, right? Maybe it's time to take some of these swords and poke some holes in that box and say, are these mine? Which ones are mine? Which one do I agree with? And what don't I agree with? And it's time to start, and that's how you start peeling off those masks. Because we put them on and we can go around and say, this is what I am. And then we can spend years doing that. I did. I spent years saying this is who I am when it wasn't. Underneath all that, when I peeled away all of that, and my true authentic self, that wasn't me. And the universe wants you to look at that right now. And so how else can you heal it? So you start to look at that, And you really start to, this Hermit card here, he's in reverse, but in the upright position, the Hermit card says, you know, you go and you start shining a light. Start to shine a light on, like I said, those belief systems, that box that you were placed in before, and start to examine that and say, you know, is that really who I am? And that's what the Hermit wants to do here. But he's in reverse, which means, you know, there's going to be a resistance to doing that because it's not easy to start to do some self-examination and start to question some of our beliefs, because some of us can be so, our ego. This is the guy with the King of Swords here, who is all about masks. Our ego wants us to keep those masks on. When you start poking holes in that box that, you know, you have placed yourself, that you were placed when you were younger and still continue to live in, that the ego doesn't like that, doesn't want you to start to question that at all. And this is really interesting too, because this last card here for how can you heal this? Well, this was in reverse with the Five of Swords, another sword here, which is, you know, our mental belief systems. You have a few swords in this reading. And I want you to look closely at this card. And there's an individual at the back here, right back here. You know, he's hiding his face. And I know myself that when I heal one particular emotion, when I really get back into my body and start to feel this one emotion, I will hide my face. And that's how I know what it is. It's shame. This is what I call the bullying card, right? This is in reverse here because I'll tell you why. But this is the bullying card. And this particular individual looks really smug here at the front. You know, and he's bullied. He's running away with all these swords, right? He thinks he's running away with all these belief systems and quite smug. But look at the back here. That's really dealing with this shame, feeling this real unworthiness. You know, this is the second card this is my shame card, and and Five of Pentacles is the unworthiness, right? Same thing. And this was in a reverse, so there is a real resistance I can see, you know, to getting at that. Well, I could say this is blocked. So your shame is blocked because it's kind of like it's hidden behind these masks that the Hermit wants you to shine a light on, right? So, you know, you may be walking around with certain belief systems about yourself with the Hierophant, and but you know, I think what's happening is there's some shame that's hidden. Once you start peeling away at some of those masks, once you start questioning the things that you were raised with and belief systems and you know, your sense of obedience, and you're gonna find there's a lot of shame behind that. There's a lot of shame behind that. And so what's the outcome here? Well, the outcome is the devil comes out here, and the devil is an interesting card to come out for an outcome. The devil represents all those attachments that we have. All those things that we spend a lot of time on, including, it looks like, you know, I kind of felt it at the beginning when this Seven of Pentacles came up, and I talked about work and doing a lot of work and kind of covering up your shame, you know, keeping busy all the time. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be, once you start poking holes and looking at, you know, what sort of box you've been raised in and whether that's really you, and start peeling away at some of those masks, I think what's going to happen is you're going to realize this you're going to realize that, you have been covering up your pain with an addiction. Your addiction's sort of going to come into light here. And, we all have addictions. I have addictions. And over my course of, my intensive healing, one of the things I always ask my life coach, this was my current life coach, she's been my life coach for 7 years, and I've said to her, well, what do I do about my eating addiction? Because that's my biggest one, is my eating. And, she just kind of always said, just keep an eye on it. And it wasn't something that she wanted to deal with at the beginning of my healing journey with her. Because as you start to work on your shame and work on this unworthiness, and you are going to start to bring into light, oh, I'm really covering this up with my addiction or addictions. We all just don't have one. We can go from one to the other, and we all know what they are, what our own addictions are. And so you're really going to start to look at that addiction, right? And sometimes when we kind of shed that light on it, that's what helps kind of heal them. I'm not sure cold turkey works all the time. In some cases it has to work because it depends on what the addiction is. But the other outcome that comes out here, and we can't, discard this little guy back here, is the Page of Cups. So once you start to realize that you're covering up a lot of your shame, you're going to discover this little Page of Cups. And my pages in my deck are, for me in the tarot, are my inner children. And this particular one, he's the Page of Cups. He's what I call my little love seeker. This is the inner child that gets us in the most trouble, because we really are just seeking love, right? Most of us, all of us are just seeking love, wanting to be loved. There's a part of you that wants to be loved. There's a part of you that wants to be heard, that wants to be listened to. We go looking that's what our addictions are. Our addictions cover up our pain. And you're going to find out that underneath your pain is your little love seeker. This is the inner child. This is your inner child. This is the inner child that needs healing. And it's a beautiful thing when you can start to heal your love seeker, that part of you that really is hurting, that holds a lot of our grief, our shame. And so I can see you starting a really, there's a lot that's coming out here where you're just feeling a lot, but you need to really take time out now and start to get in touch with your true self. And you're going to discover your little Page of Cups, who wants to heal, wants you to listen to them, wants you to love them. It's your inner child, right? All right, so beautiful reading for you, Libra. I'm going to pull an animal card for you to end this with. Well, you got two, so I'm just going to pick the top one, which is Stag Spirit. Take the lead. Whether or not you have set your intention to lead, you may have found yourself suddenly called to step up to the forefront of your life. Stag Spirit is a reminder that now is the time to heed the call, to be sure, strong, and compassionate. Others will look to you, and you have it within you to see through the eyes of Stag Spirit and walk with confidence as you take on responsibilities. Be willing to see the best in others so that your compassionate heart keeps you on the right path. Stag Spirit wants you to know that your responsibilities now are to yourself, for you are learning and developing new skills. You are a model for transformation now, sharing your experience, strength, and hope with others, so they may grow and discover their best selves too. What a gift you are. Stay humble and authentic and walk your talk, for this is how a wise leader leads. Yeah, this was so much about walk your talk. And, you know, with this Hierophant looking at, you know, kind of looking at what are your belief systems here. And, yeah, there's a lot more in here about compassion for yourself, right? Yeah. All right. So I'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye, Libra.